Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we are talking love and marriage, Huntsville. You guys know why you are here. Today we are talking, you guys, because there has been a level of a social media firestorm. Because we're obviously not going to be talking about the episode tonight, because everything that is taking place as it involves this cast is more entertaining than any of the tomfoolery airing currently on the show. And this time we have to talk about Marquez, Tricia, and Ken, you guys. And the tomfoolery on social media. Marquez has since issued out an apology, which we will get to in a moment. But if you've been living under a rock, just a quick little recap, quick little housekeeping. Earlier in the week on Messy Monday, there was a viral and very telling interview that took place with Carlos King and Dr. Heavenly and Marquez, right? This is, fresh off of him being at Mimosas with Melody. He wants to set the record straight that he is not a deadbeat father, is trying to provide receipts of the fact of examples of when Tricia played in his face and that essentially he left because she was cheating on him and all of these things, and basically, expose and allege that production is hitting up his kids to basically try to convince and manipulate the children that he is a deadbeat father. And, and even said is furthermore to Carlos King that, listen, I said, I don't know if it was edited out or whatever, but I feel like it was edited out because he agreed with Dr. Heavenly that his edit is whack, that he explained what the real tea is on the situation with Tricia, and it wasn't on the episode, and that's when Carlos King had this whole connection, had this whole meltdown. It was like, nobody's going to question the integrity of my show, there's no AI, and blah, 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 right? So we really didn't hear anything from Tricia and Ken, right? But there's been a lot of fallout from this interview, including Dr. Heavenly herself saying thanks, but no thanks. I want nothing to do with Carlos King anymore. I want nothing to do with Messy Monday anymore. I will not be a part of just tearing apart black families, even if they're already torn apart or what have you. Even though there's been messy things that she's said and done in regards to other people's marriages. I'm married to medicine, but that's another conversation for another day. But I guess, she feels all of a sudden, all of this love and marriage Huntsville and all the darkness and all the negativity and all the backlash surrounding it is bad for business, which we told her from the start when they announced that they were even going to do this stupid show, that it was not going to work the way that they thought it was going to work, because there is just too much negativity and chaos and drama and lies and deception and games being played with this show and with this cast and what is getting aired and what is taking place on social media. So fast forward, throughout this week, Marquez has been hyping up this interview, has been hyping up Dr. Heavenly, has been throwing shade at Carlos King and all of these things, and has been using, various songs such as August Alsina's Entanglement, is calling cap on portions of Ken's interview with Carlos King, and just has all this stuff to say, right? And finally, Tricia and Ken decide to respond, and everybody is tagging each other, which is also kind of low-key giving publicity stunt, until Tricia is making allegations that her current husband, as far as we know, because regardless of what allegedly was said at Mimosas with Mel, that the divorce was supposedly final, after the fact, Marquez is still saying in an interview after Mimosas with Mel that he's still legally married to Tricia. That they are still legally husband and wife, you guys. But even with that, she is now making allegations and trying to imply that Marquez is at the minimum DL on the down low, you guys, into men and not into women, you guys. And here's my thing, right? Because there's several levels to this. But first and foremost, your kids are old enough to see everything that is taking place. For all parties involved, you guys. Your kids are old enough
to see all this stuff taking place on and off of social media. They are old enough to where they have friends, they have family and everything else that is paying attention to all of this because there is newfound interest in you guys because of this bogus timeline of a story where we're just going to be thrusted into a new cast member that Carlos King apparently doesn't decide to vet anymore and get the actual intel on these people, doesn't want to do any background checks, doesn't want to do any psychological checks, who's married to who. All he cared about was the Martell connection in hopes that it was a gotcha moment to Mel, and instead all of this has backfired immensely. And it got to the point that Marquez had to camera up to say, listen, you're calling me a deadbeat for 6 years when I talk to my kids every day, when I'm involved in my kids' lives. And this is the false narrative that is being put out there because you guys want to glorify cheating. You guys want to make cheaters on this show appear like they can do no harm. In particular, all the other men on the show, allegedly, right? If you have cheated and you're on a love and marriage show, you get the golden royale treatment, you guys. You are treated like royalty. You are treated like, you can do no wrong. You are untouchable. And the person who actually is cheated on is the problem. They must have did something to cause their spouse, their significant other to cheat on them. Can you make it make sense? And so now that Marquez finally wants to reveal his truth, now it's a problem. Now we're getting allegations about his sexuality. But you didn't seem to care about his sexuality all this time. You decided to still stay married to him and still decided to be entangled with Ken. But now all of a sudden that Marquez is exposing the half-truths and lies that you refuse to own up to on the show and own up to in these interviews. Now all of a sudden he's not into women and you think he is into Ken more than you? Really, Tricia? This is the level of petty and messiness that we're doing? It's disgusting. Where was this energy? If you felt so strongly about any alleged sexuality of Marquez, why didn't you immediately divorce him? Because then it puts into question, what is the motivation for you two still being married, right? Is this for fun and games? Is this for kicks and giggles? Is this for financial reasons? Is this for health benefits? What is the bottom line that you still, after allegedly whatever took place, because he's saying on his end, he left because you were cheating. You were out here in these streets being inappropriate with multiple men besides Ken, right? Because this was also around the time when you guys were DMing each other and supposed to be meeting at the gym, but somehow you're showing up at the Ring camera at the house, right? So nonetheless, with that being said, how is this okay? That you don't like the narrative, you don't like the fact that it was exposed that this man is trying to defend himself as a father to the kids you guys share to each other, and your first action is to say, you know what? I'm going to out you. I am going to accuse you of being into men because I don't like that I'm being dragged for being a married woman cheating on my husband that I made vows to. And listen, nobody is perfect. Nobody's taking any sides in this situation, but it's very disgusting and childish behavior that's taking place. And I'm just over it, you guys. I am just over it. Like, this is the level of unhinged behavior that takes place with these people once you sign up to be on a Carlos King production. This is the level of unraveling that takes place. A part of the playbook, a part of the script. You guys do these interviews, you try to put yourselves out there, and then when people do not like what's said in these interviews and they try to defend themselves and they still feel that people are not on their side or they don't have enough support, then they go the complete unhinged route and just make all types of allegations and go to the extreme because they know that the blogs are going to talk about it. Yet none of this is going to be on the show, or it'll be some chopped and screwed version of the show because we know the show's still actively filming. So now this is going to be buttoned up. I'm sure Carlos King is just beside himself right now because doesn't him and Marquez allegedly share a birthday? They're both Libras, an emotional mess, right? I know he is eating this up and is going to pin this up and put this in a bow of this expose, and I'm just disgusted. I am absolutely disgusted. So now that there are these allegations that Tricia and Kenny want to make jokes about on social media and want to tag Marquez in, Marquez issues this apology and says that he wants to publicly apologize for his actions earlier today on social media. This has affected so many people on all sides, and I want nothing more than to bring peace and clarity. I should have never brought my children into this mess in public spaces. I take full accountability for letting my emotions get the best of me. 100. To the mother of my children, my son Xavier, my daughter Zaria, I sincerely apologize. This is not easy, but someone has to be the voice of reason. Thank you, Nene, for praying over me daily. Thank you, Pops at Mr. B the Guru, for watching over me with some dove emojis. You guys, this is awful. This is awful. It is bad enough these kids are traumatized because they're trying to be manipulated for a reality TV show to drag their father that they actively have a relationship with. But furthermore, they have to see this immature and childish display of both of their parents and the de facto wannabe stepdad that is actively celebrating being involved with a married woman for multiple years, acting like children on social media. Acting like toddlers on social media, you guys. Instead of deciding to be better examples as an adult. If you want nothing to do with Marquez more romantically anymore, Tricia, why not get the divorce finalized, I don't know, 6 years ago, or 5 years ago, or 4 years ago, or whenever the correct timeline is, this thing actually ended. Allegedly. Because it's giving stunt. It is giving PR foolery. As far as I'm concerned, because like I said, there were receipts that were of deleted photos on Facebook that show that the timelines are not timelining of when this alleged separation happened, right? And now all of a sudden we went from, Ken and Tricia knowing each other since 2000, whatever, 19, 18, 17, 16, depending on the episode, depending on what day of filming it is, to now, it was like 2021, right? No. I am going to need you guys to keep the lies straight. I am going to need you guys to meet and get your scripts together. But this isn't it. I don't like this when things don't work out or you get exposed. The first thing people want to do at the end of a relationship or at the end of a marriage or whatever is now come for your sexuality, your comfort, your sexual prowess, and all of these digs that were not a factor when you spent all of these years trying to make fetch happen in said relationship, marriage, or whatever. But now that you don't like your expose, you don't like the fact that there are people who can see Marquez's side of things and are having a key at this whole thing. Now all of a sudden it's time to quote unquote out him. And it's bad enough, what is, being coincided with people who move to Atlanta, especially men, especially black men. And this is the energy you want to give. But I'm sure Tricia's not going to give an apology because she feels that she feels justified in her immature behavior. But this is the same level of immaturity and pettiness that is on this show, which is why I can't take any of this seriously from somebody who can barely open up their mouth and talk. But you have all this stuff to say all of a sudden on social media because of a viral interview with Carlos King. But you're up here, you and Ken are bigging each other up right now, but he was just pissed at you for even entertaining an interview because he didn't like what was being said about him and decided to leave you and leave the state for 3 days. So how healthy is this thing that you have with Ken, Tricia? How long is this supposed to last? Because it's giving dysfunctional. It's giving rebound. It is giving you still want your husband regardless of his sexuality. That's the real tea. Because that is how embarrassing all of this is. If your, husband or whatever is all of these things, why are you still legally married to him? Allegedly. According to Marquez, as of the interview, which was the last that we have heard the latest of anything. Why are you still involved? If he's all these things, if he's not into women, if he's not a straight man, if he's broke, if he's all these things, why are you still with him, Tricia? But don't turn around and get on social media and try to out somebody because you don't like the narrative. You don't like, I mean, why can't he defend himself? Now, was he doing a little bit of extra trolling today? Sure. Was he doing a little bit much with the tagging? Okay. Really, but ultimately, he has been getting dragged for weeks on the show, being called a deadbeat, being called everything but a child of God. I mean, until he showed up on the show, some people were still spreading rumors that he was currently in jail. That he was currently in jail and unable to take care of his kids, you guys. Like that's how serious these rumors were. Now, he does allegedly have a brother who's currently still in jail, but nonetheless, people were saying he was in jail. Some people, even with his appearance on the show, with Marquez appearing on the show, still didn't believe it was him and alleged it was an actor, that it was a stand-in, you guys, for Marquez, and that the real Marquez is in prison. You guys, like this is what I'm saying with reality TV, and especially with the Carlos King production. It is not this serious for these social media meltdowns to take place to the point that you are attacking people in this type of level of disgust and below the belt behavior. This isn't it. Your kids are watching. That should be the most important thing, not trying to prove an entanglement and you're still somebody else's wife. Can you make it make sense? Like I said, if Ken is all everything you want to be, why haven't you divorced Marquez and married Ken by now? Because any other time you make it a point to make it look as if you're as disinterested in him as possible. But anytime it is to throw shade at Marquez, now all of a sudden you want to post a video of you guys loved up and kissing? Really? But on camera, you are more concerned about Martel acknowledging you and acknowledging your guys' history together? That was more important than cultivating your relationship and entanglement with Ken? That was more important than finalizing your divorce with Marquez? Like I'm just going to need you guys to keep the same energy. But this childish and immature behavior isn't it. And like I said, we're not going to see or hear an apology from Tricia and Ken because they're going to feel justified in their pettiness, but they went too far with their comments. Because there is no need to try to out somebody's sexuality or talk about something that has nothing to do with the issue at hand, which is whether or not Marquez is a deadbeat. Why isn't he allowed to defend those claims and provide receipts that he is involved in whatever capacity in his kids' lives that is different from what is being portrayed on the show? Why is he not allowed to expose that production was trying to manipulate the kids into saying that they don't know where their father is and don't know him and have no relationship with him and that Ken's their daddy? No smoke for any of that, right? No conversations with the kids about that. No concern about that, right? Because that's what you wanted to happen, right? To, fulfill your, role on the show. But the moment it's exposed that, which we figured you're a cheater, right? And everything else. And once we expose the games that were played, the lies that were told, now all of a sudden the sexuality now needs to come out and be alleged. And now Marquez has to come out and give an apology. Where's your apologies? Everybody was acting like children today. Make it make sense. So there is that. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.